Hey, my name is Shadowsense and you're watching Vampire the Masquerade Shadows of New York. We just finished a day where we met Father Leonard, who sends documents back and forth between my bosses in Chicago. He also checks in on my family, which is nice. Can't quite see them anymore because they're still mortal and I'm not. Then we ended the night on what I can only assume is a night of amazing sex with my girlfriend while we're both high on MDMA. So, next night, I leave Dakota's apartment as soon as the sun goes down. Yesterday was fun, but I always feel a little nervous when I spend too much time with her. She never lets me escape from being the center of attention. It's exhausting. At least the less time I spend with her, the happier she is to see me again. It's a tricky act to balance, though. Yeah, because she could possibly be a fucking masquerade breach. Actually, she is, but semantics. I'm grateful for her presence in my life, but never mind. What's on my list of chores tonight? Ah, yes, the only one thing. Don't show up for the party at the art hole. Well, this is the rare night when I don't have anything to do. Might as well take a trip around the city and see what's up. Maybe fix myself a little drink while I'm at it. Ooh, okay. We can go here. Or we can go up here. Oh, we could go up to Central Park. At least that's what I'm assuming this is. It says, in life, I wasn't especially fond of parks. Now, as one of the kindred, I can finally see the appeal. Past midnight, they become surprisingly good hunting ground. I need to break out of this mood, go somewhere I never visit, see something I tend to avoid. Think, Julia, what is the least you place to go and live a little? Well, I think I can only choose one of these. So, let's go to the park. Van Cortlandt Park. Ah, it's not central. Funny, I never knew how much I could miss nature until I got stuck in this urban jungle for good. The sight of familiar green surroundings slowly floods my mind with disjointed images, back from when I had just moved to NYC and was still in awe of it. Let's reminisce. I close my eyes, allowing myself to drown in the stream of memories. An elderly couple holding their frail hands in the warmth of the morning sun, an evening gathering of self-important academics fervently discussing the discoveries no one but them cares about. Bunch of kids chasing an imaginary treasure, joyful, relentless, and oblivious to the danger of the summer's heat wave. A young, perfectly chiseled jogger running along the golf course, 100% graceful in every move he makes. Mesmerizing. My eyes snap open and the spinning kaleidoscope of images fades away. I collect my focus and remember what brought me here. A burning heat reaches my fingers. I flick the butt away and immediately take another cigarette out of the pack before proceeding through the parade ground. The faint sound of shoes tapping against the concrete interrupts my contemplative mood. Just what I was hoping for. I hurriedly finish my smoke and take a step back, blending in with the shadows. A lonely jogger runs into and out of the pale lamplight, completely lost in his thoughts. All dressed up in top-shelf sportswear, wiry muscles clearly visible under the skin-tight outfit. And his exposed neck. I get the urge back under control for now. Back when I was alive, I'd rely on the breathe-in, breathe-out exercise. However, nowadays, breathing costs a premium. Just as I regain my composure, the jogger stops by the flickering lantern and takes a glance at his smartphone. His body tenses noticeably as he answers a call. Moving in on him right now would of course inevitably involve the caller hearing the assault happen. No reason to make things complicated. I'll take my time. I cautiously get closer and closer until I can finally overhear his words. Should expect the bad news, I know, but Jesus, Tasha, he's 9. He struggles and fails to sound calm. No, she doesn't know yet. I'll tell her when I get home. I need to think this through. I notice a lanyard half stuck into a pocket with the Bronx Times logo slapped on it. They say there's no cure. Yeah, I heard something about experimental treatments in Rochester, but I can't make this decision on my own. I connect the dots, realize what he's talking about, and feel like I was punched straight in the guts. Listen, I need to clear my head. Tell Jonah I need a couple of days off. If he starts throwing a fit again, tell him he'd better learn to write the fucking column on his own. No, seriously. Thanks, Tasha. Yes, I'll give him a kiss from his auntie. The moment he hangs up, his composure goes out the window. He basically stumbles to the nearest bench. God damn it. His faint sobbing stops me in my tracks. I lose my appetite. Feeding on this guy would feel nauseating anyway. Just when I convince myself that I should let basic decency take the reins, he notices me creeping around. He gives me a startled glance, eyes damp, looking absolutely miserable. Busted. So, what do you say to a guy you were just about to assault in a dark park, but thought better of it? I just wanted to say, it's going to be alright. He looks at me. His gaze is kind, but tired and empty. Look, I appreciate your intentions, but do you really believe that? I weigh my words. No, I don't. Then why would you say that? Who do you think you are? You have no fucking idea what I'm going through. He gets more and more aggravated with every word. I cut him off. How can you be so sure? That snaps him back into focus. You're right. I can't know exactly what you're feeling. I'm no mind reader, but it's clear that we have something in common. We both got fucked over with no say in the matter. He turns away and stays silent. Glad he didn't ask about how I got fucked over. Not exactly the same caliber of suffering. It's gonna be fine. Yeah, I got tired of hearing it too. Never gets fine unless you work your ass off. And even then, things get bearable maybe if you're lucky. Your son has multiple sclerosis, yeah? He doesn't deserve it, but that's the reality of being its usual fucked up self. Imagine how afraid he must be. Your fear is infinitely more beatable, so you need to pull yourself together. Lead him by example. The guy peers at me with unease, but I notice a tiny spark of confidence kindling in his eye. Unless there's some sort of miracle, there's nothing I can do to help my boy. Bullshit. You still have time to just be together. Make it the best life he ever had. Giving people advice I myself wouldn't be able to listen to? Hell yeah, classic me. I feel that so hard. The amount of advice that I give people that I never follow myself has been staggering. Staggering. Since people started coming to me for advice. Well, guessing what people want or need to hear was an essential skill back at Lodestar. Anyway, that's all for me. You're right, I've overstepped my boundaries. But I wish both of you the best of luck, sincerely. Have a good night. I notice a change in his melancholic face. He stands up with his back straight, like he's regained some of his lost resolve. He nods and starts running straight back to his problems. I start walking the opposite direction. Even though I might regret the show of abstinence later, what little remains of my humanity inside my shriveled heart encourages me to think that letting this guy go was the right thing to do. Need a change of scenery to break out of this mood, and an opportunity to actually get some juice into my veins relatively guilt-free as possible. Guess that's enough human interaction for one night. Once more to Big Beat Burger, into the last food joint I'll ever know. I'll have the usual. The first time I used this line, I wasn't sure it would work, but I've gained enough notoriety among the staff that it does. Cashier just smiles, nods, and charges me for one black coffee. I can imagine them instructing the newbies. See that emo weirdo? Here's how it is. She always orders a single cup of coffee, nothing else. She doesn't even drink it. Probably wouldn't take a single sip if I was still alive. This stuff is just trash. Big yes. McDonald's coffee has gotten better over the years, but I'll tell you one fast food coffee that fucking sucks shit and I hate it. Burger King. The worst Burger King coffee I had was when I was on my way back from Canada last year. Before I got to my departing flight, I stopped by the airport Burger King, which is already like bad. Airport fast food just isn't good. But I stopped by the Burger King, I got coffee, and it was the worst, shittiest coffee I'd ever tasted in my entire life. It was like burnt to shit. It just didn't taste right, even though I put loads of cream and sugar into it. Fucking terrible. But at least being a buying customer gives me an excuse to sit here for as long as I want to. I wish I could use one of those self-order kiosks to minimize human interaction, but touchscreens don't exactly like me. Not long ago, I managed to blue screen 10 of them in a row. Oh well, the good news is it doesn't look like I have anything to do tonight. The bad news is it's because every kindred who matters is having fun at the art hole right now. It's not like I wanted to go, I just wanted them to invite me so that I can tell them to fuck off. Dude, okay, I feel that. I relate so much to this character. Just, listen, I'm not really like a go out and party kind of person, but it would be nice to be invited and asked. That's all. It would just be nice to be asked. I scanned the entrance to the restaurant through my peripheral vision. Am I naively hoping that someone will come and save me from my misery? I guess I am. Please, please, please let somebody come and get me out of here. A prince, a princess, a knight in shining armor, a fairy godmother, a passing huntsman, Big Bad Wolf, Mila Jovovich, Vin Diesel, Azalea Banks. Maybe not Azalea Banks. Oh, I'll take anyone at this point. Visualizing, tapping into the power of my subconscious, materializing my dreams. Nope, doesn't work. Looks like you're eternally stuck with being a nobody in the corner of a shitty restaurant, sweet little Julia. Unlife's a bitch and then you don't even die. I pretend to read a book about psychoanalysis I stole from Dakota for a while. Having found it too mentally taxing, I switched to pretending to read a Stephen King book, which I also stole from Dakota. After the terrifying realization that it was written in the last 15 years and therefore contains no amusing drugged out rants about troubled childhood in Maine, I switched back out to... Hey, I will not stand for the Stephen King slander. Yes, he doesn't really write horror anymore, he's more of like a crime writer now, but he's still good, damn it. The party must be so stuffy and trashy and boring. At this point, I'm no longer looking for salvation, I'm asking for amusement. But it doesn't come. All I get is boring bozos in normcore clothes. They walk in, take care of their business without doing anything to amuse me, and walk out. A few minutes after I lose all hope, a tall, elegant man marches in with a spring in his step. He looks around, impatient, irritated. Then he notices the person he was looking for and reacts with visible relief. He gallantly approaches my table, looks at me and says, "There you are. Now that's curious. He shouldn't be here." Vin Diesel? Looks like my prayers were answered. Vin goddamn Diesel is here, ready to take me away from this dreadful place in his shining Dodge Charger. Is Michelle Rodriguez in trouble again? Have you made up with The Rock? Will we get justice for Han? Are we going to a race? Will you teach me how to live my life a quarter mile at a time? My dumb attempts at self-amusement doesn't faze him at all. He doesn't even roll his eyes, just stares at me blankly. Grab your stuff and get in my car. Now. His tone leaves no room for doubt. Something bad has happened. I want to ask what, but whenever he's in this I will simply ignore all the dumb shit you say mode. I know better than to ask questions. Instead, I silently follow him to the exit. He guides me to his car. I just hope I haven't messed anything up again. I don't think I have, but have I? Kadir's car. As usual, he gave me the back seat. It's always uneasy when the passenger seat is taken. Doesn't want anyone to limit his peripheral vision, he says. Normally, I'd catch him observing me in the rearview mirror, but this time he's watching the streets, more tense than usual. Something must have caught him off guard. I've got my seatbelt on and my popcorn ready. What's up? The awkward silence feels like it will last forever. Eventually, he finds the right words and speaks up. 6 weeks ago, the prince told me to parley with the anarchs in the docks, remember? Yeah, and you made me tag along so that I could learn something about politics. As it turned out, politics meant something awfully similar to watching my drunken family shout at each other at a wedding party. There was a man who didn't need to shout that would make my blood boil. The meanest one in the room, their leader, white hair, a monocle, musty clothes. That fucking guy. With this fucking Polak cunt. Scrooge McDuck, yeah, how could I forget? A lot of panache, old-timey bravado, and gendered insults flung my way. What was his name? Something British, made me think of Hollywood. Callahan? Baron Callahan, Douglas Boss Callahan. Right, it's 2020, but the man's opinions and ideas were stuck in 1920. Weren't the Anarchs supposed to be the progressive option? I never understood why they put up with him. He has his ways of predicting which way the wind will blow. Anytime Camarilla or the SI hit the Anarchs, it was the factions opposed to him that were hurt. The luckiest bastard in the world. Thought you didn't believe in luck. I don't, but it sure looks like luck has finally run out tonight. Huh. Wait, don't tell me. He's dead? Deader than dead? I'm 99% sure the bastard met its final death. How do you know? We've got trustworthy sources in the Anarch inner circles. Looks like all hell's about to break loose. There's an emergency meeting at the art hole. Jesus, and you're bringing me with you? Why? Because you were on the way, because I could, because I should. You might not be important to the members of the court, but you're still an asset to the sect. Symbolically, at least. I could justify sneaking you into the party, claiming it's for your own protection. As always, my very own Vin Diesel takes care of his familia. Wait a minute, though. The party is still happening? I called the prince, told her the best course of action is stopping it, and started listing security protocols I have prepared for these sorts of situations. She interrupted me halfway through and told me we will discuss the subject face to face. Doesn't sound like she was interested. The party is that important, huh? Politics is that important. I don't know if he's trying to convince me or himself. And once again, politics sounds an awful lot like a bunch of party-loving assholes shouting at each other. Don't worry, this isn't the kind of, how should I call it, governing issue the likes of you and I tend to deal with. And how would you describe the governing issues we tend to deal with? Shoveling ourselves out of shit. As usual, he seems a little embarrassed for cussing, or for being too honest. Either way, it's cute. No argument here. And that's where the conversation ends. We stay silent as the car rides off toward the unknown. I'm not a New York City Baron. The Baron of New York City, if you please. Once more, memory of old douchebag who thought he could rule the world crosses my mind. Well, it looks like the world has left him behind. Sayonara, asshole. And here I am at the only place I didn't expect to visit tonight, the art hole. Guessing by the sounds, the inside seems lively. Even if they know it's an emergency, they simply don't care. What are you standing around for? You still need an invitation? No idea, do I? I think the bouncer will let you in. There's a bouncer? Yes, and he's standing right in front of you. Just start walking, whelp. He keeps calling me whelp, and it sounds mean. What does that mean? Is it because I'm a fledgling? I'm assuming it's because I'm a fledgling. I can't really see. Oh, there it is. Not much different than archaic human usage. Whelp is how you refer to your kid when they're fucking up. Got it. And here I am, among partying elites. It's as stuffy and as boring as I expected, but hey, elites is exclusive. The title Panhard came up with for these yearly gatherings is called Celebrations of Power. An invitation to re-examine the relationship between our undead bodies and the spaces they inhabit. The week-long event is packaged as a sort of performance art piece meant to make the kindred who are involved celebrate their potential instead of despairing at their monstrous nature. We need to counter-program the omnipresent images of tragic vampirism with images that remind us that we have inherited the earth and are now free to remake it in our images, the way our prince puts it. To this end, she organizes a series of exhibits, concerts, fireworks, parties, business meetings, etc., etc. Of course, the parties and business meetings are the most important. My prince, Kadir, finally. A saint with angelic wings, a holy patron of New York City. Take a good look around. Half of the figures here are dressed like they're attending a mass ball. The other half are religious figures, either demonic or saintly. I have to admit, I don't fully understand the theme here. I know Panhard based it on psycho magic, sort of shamanic psychotherapy using the power of art. Simply put, it's a holy mass and unholy mass in equal measures, a set of rituals meant to make the participants wholeheartedly accept they're both the worst and the best the earth has to offer. Put on this mask at the very least. You're standing out. Here. I heard the aesthetic basis for these parties is the black mass in the film Eyes Wide Shut. Some think this decision means Panhard is tone deaf, but it's quite the contrary. She knows the anarchs are constantly looking for ways to undermine her through art and rhetoric that point out glaring contradictions in her theoretically benevolent rule. But instead of denying and suppressing aesthetics designed to criticize the elites, she embraces them. Instead of risking a Streisand effect, she effectively defangs the opposition. The resistance becomes a part of the system, and both the Camarilla and the anarchs get the same message. Don't think of it as a pathology, think of it as the new normal. I'll collect the key advisors. They have already been told to come here. I don't think there's a need for us to hold the meeting in a particularly secluded place. We'll just do it over there. Are you certain? Absolutely. Wait, is that Miss Sawinski I see behind you? Good evening? Hang on, Andy's crying. I gotta let him in. I collected her on my way here because of her role as the La Sombra representative. Just get reseated here. Just say political hostage. You people have made it perfectly clear what's going to happen with my parents back in Chicago if I go against you. I realized she might become a target and then decided to hide her at the art hole. Putting all my eggs in one basket will make my job easier. I will look for a safe place for her to spend the night. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Let her stay with you for now, Al-Asma. Time is of the essence. I didn't notice him sneak up on us. Nice get up. Are you absolutely sure? But of course, everything we say here is going to become an open secret in a matter of minutes. Prince Panhard has already come up with appropriate messaging. Out of the corner of my eye, I spot an elderly vampire guiding a young, fashionable human girl toward the basement, led like a lamb to the slaughter. Best not to think too deeply about what's going on underneath this place. Before everyone gets here, I'd like to secure the perimeter. Easy now, Al-Asma. All of the appropriate security protocols for you are already active. Me and the prince have already pulled some strings as well. The situation is mostly under control. Mostly under control, never let anyone sleep easier. A spacebar doesn't advance a text? Weird design choice. Al-Asma, I know that as the prince's sword, you're aching for blood, but you have to accept that, like most weapons known to men, you're most effective hidden in the sheath. Listen here now. Looks like a fascinating philosophical discussion in the making, but sadly I'm forced to interrupt. Prince Panhard. All of a sudden, Samira appears between the two men, her calm and collected voice completely changing the atmosphere. As expected for a self-professed protector of the peace. Samira, I hope you're enjoying yourself. To be quite honest, I feel out of place. She nods and smiles at me, probably the signal she takes solace in not being the only person in the room who feels like a fish out of water. Especially now, seeing as I heard this meeting is meant for those of greater stature than mine. Nonsense, we have a delicate matter to discuss. One that might require severe judgment down the road. I think you understand why I wish for a child of Hakim to be involved. Of course. What is with that expression on your face, Kadir? He quickly collects himself. Look who's joining us. The High Regent of the Chantry of the Five Boroughs, Lady Aisling Sturbridge, walks up to our group in an outfit I would have never imagined her in, pretending everything is par for the course. Prince Panhard, the Sheriff, the Harpy, the Banu Hakim Primogen. Are we still waiting for someone? He's almost here. Shining even more brightly than usual, Aisling. I adore your outfit, Samira. Wish the prince allowed the same amount of effort for me. I, for one, am glad she didn't. I particularly love those horns. Thank you for reminding me. I put them on at the prince's behest, but I believe she's had more than enough fun. No, not yet. Ah, well, this'll do for now. But you're not off the hook yet. I paid a costly price to see you like this. Both Kadir's and the prince's voices are strained whenever they attempt humor. Their minds are obviously elsewhere, and it's not a happy place. Arturo, on the other hand, seems calm. We all celebrate our power in different ways, I suppose. Now, what is this about? Just a moment. Over here, Addison. The Camarilla's infamous spokesman approaches, pushed towards us in a wheelchair by his servant. Helene, everyone. I certainly hope this is something important. What a commanding tone. Seeing as Payne can't communicate normally, his servant relays his words to us instead, and he's posh and snobby enough to make me believe I'm listening to his master's voice. Carter won't be joining us. He gave me a fair warning that he might not make it tonight. I've messaged him the details. I'll have to find time to meet him later then. Finding time, searching for lost time, I swear it's all I do nowadays, and there's never enough. I guess now you understand why I insisted this event must last all week. So many esteemed guests, many of them from out of town, each deserving of at least a few hours. The figure in the wheelchair waves his hand impatiently. Yes, let's just cut to the chase now, shall we? That might be the wisest course of action. My prince? Arturo. My prince. Everyone, let me begin by stressing these important points. The situation is largely under control. The negotiations are underway and the situation is more tense than dangerous. We are safe. Let me repeat, we are safe. And with that out of the way, here's the biggest news. Baron Callahan, de facto leader of the Anarchs in New York City, met his final death in his office tonight. How did you find out? We have a good friend near his office. Their intel is as accurate as it gets. We've also established a negotiation channel with the Anarchs. They gave us all the confirmation we needed. Was our court involved in this destruction? I look at her in disbelief. So does everyone else. Not that the same thought hasn't passed through my head, but to simply exclaim it like that. Oh, spare me the virtue signaling. I thought we were being transparent here. I don't give a damn if you took care of Callahan or not. I just want to have a clear idea of what I'm dealing with. Just spit all over my microphone. Good God. Yes, a clear answer. I need that too. To my knowledge, none of us present here ordered his destruction, nor did we participate in it. Unless someone wants to confess, it's now or never. Of course, nobody speaks up. Arturo pretends to clear his throat. That's our official position as well. The Camarilla's ruling body has nothing to do with it, and for all intents and purposes, his Anarch contenders had more interest in removing him than we did. That interest is sure to manifest in one way now. His former enemies will prop him up as a martyr for the cause. Yes, which is why we sadly can't just leave the Anarchs for their own devices. As much as we'd like to avoid recognizing their sect in any way, we've offered to assist them in an official investigation. Addison Payne's wrinkled face contorts slightly. Let me just ask you one question. You do realize those curs have no respect for our traditions, yes? We do, Addison, but as a veteran politician, you should be deeply familiar with the words controlled opposition. Yes. For now, it is impossible to fully contain the Anarch threat in New York. For now, our only option is to prop up a candidate who will offer the least resistance to our future plans for the city. We extend our hand to the most promising contender, giving him a way to present himself as a diplomat, a man of reasonable compromise. The rabble falls in line, the purists grow angry and alienated. We've already contacted the best possible person in their sect. He will oversee the investigation, and it's in his best interest to show he's able to resolve the situation calmly. Is that good enough? Addison ponders the question for a while, then waves his hand again. It is. Proceed. Funny thing, nobody's paying attention to me right now. Keep in mind, Mr. Payne, our man's people will still barely tolerate us, and the situation is volatile. The other factions within that sorry excuse for a sect might still try to escalate the conflict. I really do hate being a part of this bourgeoisie bullshit, personally, but that's just how the dice goes. I will do my best to solve this situation as fast as possible. How so? Kadir is momentarily taken aback by Arturo's question. I volunteered to coordinate the case with the Anarchs, of course. I refuse. You have more important duties to focus on. Once more, Kadir is stunned. All due respect, Prince, but if you don't consider me capable of tackling this issue and attending to my usual duties at the same time, I think you gravely underestimate me. Your penchant for working yourself to the bone is well known and appreciated by everyone in this room, Sheriff, but so is your perfectionism. If we do grant your wish and let you investigate while still fulfilling your routine obligations, can you guarantee you're going to give both these tasks your best? I can guarantee something very close to my best. Close to your best doesn't cut it, Al-Azmai, not when the vultures are out in full force. Callahan's destruction is sure to cause unrest among the Anarchs, and there's obvious outlet for their pent-up rage. I want to make this perfectly clear. The celebrations will continue as planned no matter what. This is why your presence here is absolutely necessary, Sheriff. We rely on your constant protection. Of course, my prince. We must be on constant vigil for a few days. Al-Azmai's sword must be constantly pointed at the enemy surrounding us. The timing of the Baron's destruction is impeccable. The Anarch leaders are sure to point to us and claim we're shamelessly celebrating his end. Does anybody believe it's just a coincidence? Murders are messy, almost as messy as politics. It's impossible to reliably predict the outcome of any violent action. I think it'd be wise for us to brace for a lot of unfortunate coincidences, Aisling. In any case, the rabble can't get the impression that their power struggles are of great concern to us. But they also can't think we have something to hide, which brings me to my point. We do need a symbolic gesture, one displaying expertly measured intensity. My best bet is a humble diplomatic envoy, a low-level official acting as an investigator of sorts. And what am I if not an investigative journalist? And also a symbolic gesture to the La Sombra clan. I implore you, Prince. Kadir. He bites his tongue and struggles to collect himself. I rarely see him lose his temper, at least where the Camarilla is involved. What's going on? I wonder about your suggestion for this role. After all, it's not particularly prestigious, but carries a lot of responsibility. We're still talking about a Camarilla representative. Oh, I think there's a very obvious candidate. Both he and Kadir look at me simultaneously. Everyone else in the room does too. Now wait a second, he can't possibly mean... Miss Julia, once again, your full name eludes me at the moment. Am I allowed to speak? Or maybe I should wait for permission? Before I make up my mind, the sheriff sighs deeply and speaks up. Sawinski. Miss Julia Sawinski, I understand you used to be an investigative journalist before your embrace. That's correct. Among others, the Banu Hakim Primogen insisted that you are worthy of greater privileges and should be given a chance to prove yourself. Samira measures Arturo with suspicion. Yes. Do you still think she's capable? She looks me deep in the eye. I swear she's telepathically trying to tell me, please, please, please don't fuck this up, you dumbass little white girl. Of course. Good. And I'm sure that you, Al-Azmai, have no problem with your protege embarking on this mission. Save for the pain a mother feels when watching her child leave the nest. Whether I do or don't is not particularly important right now, is it? It absolutely is. Panhard's backing of Arturo momentarily blindsides him. Prince Panhard, If Arturo's plan is reckless, I want you to tell me. I need a simple yes or no answer. Is the girl capable? Now he knows he's left with no choice. I wouldn't entrust her with all the responsibilities that I have if she wasn't. He exchanges glances with me, but his look is different than Samira's. It's as if he's trying to apologize to me. Here we are then, a recommendation from the Banu Hakim Primogen and the Sheriff. To tell you the truth, I was just throwing out ideas, but with this backing, I can't doubt the Night Clan's representative will get the job done. Certain each of us feels the same, Mr. Payne. The atmosphere in the room mostly suggests people are glad that they don't have to discuss the topic further. A shrug here, an averted gaze there. It is as you say. I will watch the way she handles the situation with great interest. Well then, Miss Sawinski, looks like you've got your chance for a big break. Just tell me what to do, I guess. Yeah, just point me in the right direction and tell me what to do. No point in pretending I have a choice there, is there? Little words. Excellent. That leaves us with only one more matter, which I hope we can agree on. Prince Panhard signals someone with her hand. The figure emerges from behind the corner. Good evening. Catherine, what a pleasant surprise. Nobody informed us you were in town. Addison, looking healthier than ever. And what does Vice have to do with it? We need an impartial observer who everyone respects. And as it happens, Catherine always knew how to make friends on both sides without angering either. I beg to I'd be grateful. Just for once, you decided against throwing a tantrum about me, High Regent. Painful grimace crosses Aisling's face, but she is quick to interpret the taunt as an invitation to a game she can't possibly win. As long as she can prove herself useful to the proceedings in some way. If half of what I heard about her from Mr. Vander Vaden is true, then she should be able to. And what did poor Carter say about me this time? Nothing specific. One always has to read between the lines with him. It was mostly envy. Miss Vice gracefully agreed to mediate between the Anarch representative and the La Sombra representative, ensuring mutual cooperation and mitigating potential conflicts. That felt like a Freudian slip. La Sombra representative, not Camarilla representative, i.e. someone who could be catapulted from the sect without much damage to the ivory tower if they mess up. Is there a meeting set up? Arturo looks at the clock on the other side of the room. In less than an hour. You'd better hurry then. What the hell? All of this is happening so fast. If the situation is indeed under control, I will drive her and oversee the situation. Out of the question. You've got your orders, Sheriff. Attend to those. You fool, the girl needs guidance. And we need yours. Nobody knows what might happen next. But it's not as if the Anarchs have a lot of love for you, Al-Azmai. You're too efficient in your duties for them to tolerate you. Better spare Miss Sawinski having to see you two together. Do you think my guidance of Julia would be lacking, Kadir? I never said that. So, do you have any objections to putting her under my care? He lowers his gaze, but seems reassured. None whatsoever. That's all I needed to hear. We'll be going then. Wasting no time as usual, I see. Have you at least tried the aperitifs? I don't know what that is. Waiting is an old person's game, Helene. I still feel young. Remember, if there's anything you need help with, probably not, but I appreciate the thought nevertheless. Have a great night, everyone. I'll catch up with you later, Addison. I certainly hope you do. And so we leave. In a rush. Funny considering what she told me about being in a hurry yesterday. We're here. And being here, meeting with the Anarchs, we'll continue in the next episode. So, thank you guys so very much for watching the video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like this one, please consider subscribing. And until then, I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.